Happy Sunday, Beyond the Gates fans. Here for my weekly Sunday show to talk about the preview for the upcoming week, which is March 30th. Yes, the week of March 30th, I believe. And then I like to go over y'all's comments. Lot to talk about. Let's start with the preview. It starts iffy for me because we start the preview with Joey and Trash, and they're on a double date with Carlton and Nicole. And we have at first Joey going off about self-righteous do-gooders, which was a shot at Carlton and Nicole. I'm assuming I don't care. I don't care about the Joey and Vanessa relationship anymore. I don't want to watch it anymore. It is definitely the hardest thing for me to watch because I genuinely cannot stand the Vanessa character, the worst character on the show where the writing is concerned. I mean, there's bad characters like Tomas, which we'll get to, but Vanessa is another bad character. They've totally dropped the ball with her. And so Vanessa's going to sit there, and Joey's going to go off on her friend and her Nicole's lover, Carlton, and then Vanessa's still going to stick up for Joey, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this several times already where Vanessa has it so bad for Joey that she looks like an idiot at every single turn. Then Joey threatens Nicole, basically saying something about politicians and all those dead bodies, which is literally a hit on Nicole about Martin and the dead body Kenny. I will be upset if the show makes Martin take a fall for killing Kenny's brother in the past before the likes of Joey, Vanessa, Leslie, Hayley have some sort of actual downfall of their own. They need to wrap up one of these villain stories. Not necessarily completely, like they don't have to write the villain off the show, but they need to at least end one of their stories and then start a new one with them or something. Next in the preview is Tomas telling Bill he didn't do this, and Bill says, "My wife says otherwise." And Bill asks if Tomas is calling Hayley a liar. This is about the flirting on Friday's episode that didn't really even come off as flirting because this Alex Allegri actor just has not been a good actor for Tomas. It's been over a year. There's been no improvement. I thought the scenes with Tomas and Lynette were very cringe the other day, as I talked about on Friday. And so Tomas being put into this Bill, Lynette, Hayley storyline, I don't love it. I know KAT's going to be involved with it too. Maybe KAT can spice it up a bit. But Tomas being involved with it annoys me because it's literally the only good story the show has right now. And putting Tomas in it could be the kiss of death. Kyle and Nicole are in bed together in the preview, and Kyle is calling it a dream. So we have Kyle and Nicole possibly hooking up again after or before Nicole goes on a double date with Carlton. So it's more of the same from this love triangle that I'm really not invested in at all. I guess I'm rooting for Nicole and Kyle, but as I said a week or two ago, I kind of want Nicole to end up with none of them, the way she's acting about it and the way that Kyle and Carlton have been acting like they're teenagers in this love triangle. Next in the preview is Hayley telling Lynette that she is putting her in a difficult position, and Lynette threatens that she will blow Hayley's plan sky high. So it looks like Lynette is going to continue to do more blackmailing of Hayley and kind of continue to scam Hayley and scam the scammers. All the scammers are really trying to scam each other right now, which is the most interesting thing going on the show, in my opinion, even though a lot of the Bill and Hayley stuff could be moving along faster. I don't know what happened to the poisoning plot. My assumption is that the writers didn't want to write Hayley into a corner with that poisoning plot, and they maybe totally dropped it, because that's kind of what it's feeling like. They are afraid to go too far with their villains because then you might have to write them out. But good writers can get out of that if they want to take their villains going too far. Yes, you can write them in a corner. Maybe that means you got to rest them for a while. But there's ways out of it. And I hope they didn't totally drop the poisoning side of the story, but they might have. And last in their preview is the Duprees Celebrating Easter with Jennifer Holliday giving a performance. I mean, I like a good holiday episode on a soap opera, so I have no qualms with that. I just hope before we get to the Friday episode, that will probably be an Easter episode, there's some kind of good TV drama in the first 4 episodes of the week. But I'm not going to hold my breath with the way this show has been lately. Let's get to some of y'all's comments who you kind of feel very similar to me mostly. Bobby Wobby said, "Why are the writers purposely writing Jacob as a dumb cop? Smitty approaches Jacob while he was undercover and says Rashad. And then the undercover cop says, 'You can call me Jacob.' I was so angry when I heard that. They make Jacob like he couldn't do anything without Kat's help, and now they are making it look like he can't do anything without Smitty's help." True. We all complained about this last year when it seemed like Kat was doing a better job at detective work than Jacob. And now Jacob is undercover, and they're still writing him as very dumb, making a lot of mistakes. It almost has to be purposefully, but I don't think it is. I think this is the writer's way of thinking that they're keeping the story interesting, but they're doing it in a way that the story's still not interesting, and they're making Jacob look dumb and bad at his job. Sharon B3DN said, "I love Joey, but the Vanessa and Joey scenes are boring. They're terrible. Worst part of the show." I said that, not her. But Sharon said, "I love Joey, but the Vanessa and Joey scenes are boring. I need Joey to get back to being the mysterious hardcore gangster that he has his hand on the pulse of everything that goes on in the city. I choose to believe that Joey has some information on the Impaler." I mostly like Joey when he's away from Vanessa, but he's so much in Vanessa's orbit that it's been hard for me to take the show trying to put these layers on Joey and almost somewhat try to redeem him in a bit, in a way that I don't like what they've been doing with Joey with his redemption and trying to add layers when we really haven't even got past the initial story of Doug's death and the Vanessa and Joey stuff. The pacing, I think, may be something the show can work on more. Sharon B3DN went on to say, "Jacob being undercover is a joke. He is always standing in an alley having conversations with Smitty. When does he check in with the chief of police to let him know how things are going?" Yeah, he's always checking in with Smitty like Smitty's his boss and not his father. Very strange overall. Ross Sun 316 said, "Not Smitty saying he won't blow Jacob's cover before totally blowing Jacob's cover by going on about the shanking of Max, the gay informant." Yeah, Smitty was really going on and on in that alley, having a fit about it. Like that was not going to blow Jacob's cover. There must be some magical powers in that alley, which is maybe why Jacob and Smitty love to be there so much, because Jacob does such a terrible job of being undercover and yet he's never found out. Must be a very magical place to be. Pam Allen said, "I agree with you. The writers are putting everything they have into the cancer story. Anita is a great actress, but yes, it is depressing to hear about cancer every single day." Agree. It was literally every single day this past week. Linda Thornton said, "This is 2026. People need action and good drama to talk about at the water cooler. Just about everyone has a family member dealing with cancer issues. It's been quite depressing. But Vernon and Anita are great with their acting. I can't say it enough. Writers, close out the loose ends and give us some action." That would be what I want most from this show going into the summer. They've got to wrap up some loose ends, but also add more action to these stories. I've said this in the past. I don't know if it's controversial, but when a soap opera has 2 women head writers, they tend to work on the emotional things very well. They try to have character-driven stories, although they're not doing a good job of that either right now, in my opinion. But they really lack in the plotting, and they really lack in the action, which is why when this show had Michelle Valjean with a male co-head writer, things were a little more moving with the plot, and there was more action. I think they need to drop whatever the name of the co-head writer they added in the fall is. Taylor, I don't know what her name is, but and add some guy, somebody from the writing team, preferably a black male would be nice at the helm of a soap opera for once. Keith PB5WI said, I'm gradually, sadly, losing interest for multiple reasons. The soap opera is going downhill. First life happens, but cancer is real life. You lost numerous viewers when you introduced this premise. There's absolutely nothing entertaining about cancer. I watched my fiance and father die from cancer. I'm sorry about that, Keith. In fact, I want to shout out all of the people that have been saying in the comments how they're dealing with someone with cancer or they've lost someone to cancer. I don't want to forget anyone, but I remember Devin just lost someone close. Sorry, Devin. I know Village Girl said a while back she was dealing with her sister having cancer, and she herself had cancer in the past. Pam Allen said something similar here, saying, the actors are doing a good job with the in-depth cancer story. They are putting their heart and soul into the acting, especially Anita. However, I won't continue to watch much longer. Like you said, most of us watch TV for an escape from the realities of life. I, like so many others, have had family members die of cancer, so this just is not something I want to watch every day. Agreed. It is too depressing, and they're doing a good job with the story, both with the writing and the acting especially. But having it on every single day is overkill, and it's just not something we all want to watch, especially in today's society when we have enough shit that we're dealing with. Barbara Gregg said, Anita's expressing her frustration to her family about continuing with her cancer treatment is certainly Emmy-worthy. Agreed. Like I said the other day, Tamara Tooney, Clifton Davis, at least one of those two better be nominated for an Emmy next year when this story is eligible. But I also think Daphne, who plays Nicole, did really good in those scenes on Wednesday in the hospital with her more subtle emotions. She did a really good job too. Willie Cunningham was someone else that agreed with the acting, who said, who else grown in here was crying like a baby when they saw Vernon, Nicole, and Danny crying over Anita? That was Emmy worthy. It was very well acted. Doc Backhand said, one of the best episodes in forever. Anita's despair and fatigue were palpable today. Her daughters and husband put on the full court press today. Happy to see her jack up Ted about ignoring his kids and grandkids. Don't waste valuable time. Exhaled when she tore up the DNR. I did enjoy her chat with Ted. I think that was something that Ted needed to be done to him, and I'm glad they included that. PayMe2806 said Anita killed it today, and Lynette Def balanced out the sadness. Marty B1 said, my favorite tag team trio is back doing what they do best, scheming on each other. I really thought Lynette was going to ask Hayley for another outrageous favor. Well, judging by the preview, Marty B, Lynette might be asking for another outrageous favor. Marty B went on to say, I found it annoying when KAT involved herself in Jacob's investigations, but I think her getting involved with who is Lynette will be a great thing for her to occupy herself with. I mean, I've been saying KAT needs a different story that doesn't involve Tomas or Eva, but this story does still kind of involve Tomas, unfortunately, for all of us. But it will be nice to see KAT have some sort of different story. Marty B also said, if Danny keeps hanging out with Bill, her marriage to Andre won't make it to their 1-year anniversary, and Joey will win that bet. Joey might win that bet because Danny just cannot stay away from Bill. Oh, before I forget, I do want to call out someone in the comments who is blocked now. So if you're watching this, you're blocked. That is Diva's Delights, who left a rude, stupid comment. And if people are going to leave stupid comments, then you're going to get blocked. I started doing this for Big Brother last summer, and I've continued doing it because YouTube life is much easier when you don't have to read stupid, rude comments. And it was a comment attacking me for liking Lynette too much and actually enjoying Lynette while at the same time trying to defend the actor that plays Tomas. I found the comment was very long and stupid. And God forbid I actually talk about something I'm actually enjoying on this show. I mean, what do you want me to do? Complain about every single thing? I already call it like I see it. The writing is bad in most storylines. God forbid I actually enjoy Lynette. So I think Diva's Delights should watch this show by herself and enjoy the boringness, or go comment on someone else that reviews the show so that you could be rude to them, but not in my comments. Also, I think you should change your name from Diva's Delights, because I don't really think that fits. Diva, yes. Delights, not at all. Maybe try Diva's Delusions if you actually think Tomas is a good actor. Your Love Angel said, I want to see more of the Hawthorns. I think they have the most interesting family dynamic. I wasn't surprised about her present feelings about Eva. I already figured she would feel away since he's been back home and she's not the only woman in his life. She did make a good point about how Isaiah hadn't brought Eva to the house in order for her to get to know her. I think it makes sense that Darlene wouldn't like Eva because of Leslie and that whole thing with Jacob investigating Leslie. So that makes a lot of sense. It also keeps Isaiah as the black sheep of the family, like they want him to be. I do think we should see more Hawthorne dynamics. It could be more interesting than some of the other stuff. Rodney Herring said, I was really happy to see Miss Anita getting better, and we finally got to meet Mother Hawthorne. I think she did a great job, and it was nice to see Miss Peaches. I'm glad she's getting better. The story was definitely all over the place. I am rooting for Beyond the Gates. Let's get the storylines moving, tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, let's hope the stories start moving and tighten up. It was kind of good to see Peaches. I know a lot of you in the comments have been asking, where's Peaches? But they do seem to be keeping her around. I figured at some point they would kill Peaches off to try and make the audience feel more sorry for Leslie. I still think that's a possibility. Ed the Bank said, Leslie needs to get a life and be grateful that Anita set up that trust fund for Barbara's family. Vernon clocked her because it's about her, and Vernon was playing the cancer card when she plays the poor me every chance he gets. Vernon did clock Leslie pretty hard, which was good to see, because we don't always get to see the Duprees actually stick it to Leslie. They really let it go way too much, but Vernon had time that day, and he did what needed to be done. Amber Lynn said, Jacob is annoying with chastising Grayson about dating Ashley. I'm ready for Jacob to get beat up, and does he stay in the alley all day? It's starting to look like a waste. Yeah, Jacob was overstepping it with the Ashley thing. I don't really care about Grayson and Ashley, surprise, surprise, but I do think it was stupid of Jacob to continue to push that issue while he's supposedly trying to not be undercover in Grayson's eyes, and I don't think that really fit. Wanda Dixon said, you're correct. Why put the best storyline on ice? Why can't the writers see an end to one storyline? That might be the $1 million question of this show lately. Why can't the writers seem to end one storyline? As for the best storyline that you're talking about, this is when I brought up how the Bill Hayley stuff has been put on ice, especially her poisoning him. Don't know why that was put on ice. Like I said earlier, maybe they felt like they were writing Hayley in too much of a corner. CCO3 said, yes, I've been wanting to see her. This is about Isaiah's mom, I assume. They could do a lot with her, or is she just making an appearance only to be unseen again like Deanna? I hope we see both more of Deanna and Darlene, especially Deanna, though, actually. And then CCO said, maybe she can see Leslie with Officer Malone while she is friends with his wife, and tells her that, and she saw them together, and then his wife plots revenge on Leslie. You would think that Darlene would know Malone's wife. That's another possible story. They need to find something more for Leslie to do. Costella McKinley Grant said, I'm curious, didn't Leslie sleep with Peach's man too? I wonder if Eva knows. She probably doesn't care because I think she is okay with her mother sleeping with the married cop Marcel. I don't know how she can idolize her mom. I don't think Eva idolizes Leslie at all. I just think she is just stuck in that cycle with Leslie. I think they could do a better job of being more nuanced with that Eva and Leslie mother-daughter relationship. But I do think they did mention in the past when Peaches first came that Leslie slept with Peaches' man too. She's just been annoying everyone for a very long time, I guess. Linda Thornton said, I'm for Darlene and Leslie to go at it. Darlene was not impressed with Eva, nor was she friendly. Eva felt it. Vernon checked Leslie, who was playing the victim. When will Bill see Hayley as a snake? So many storylines are still open. A lot of you in the comments talking about how these storylines don't go anywhere and are not wrapping up, and I can't disagree. I do have to assume Darlene and Leslie are going to get into it at some point. Devin said, our favorite alley is my favorite recurring line of yours. Is it not our favorite alley? Is it not your favorite alley, Devin? Because it's damn sure Jacob's favorite alley. And Smitty's too, apparently. Amin Mohammed said, I like how you say everything raw, spot on. If I'm going to review something, you're going to get my raw opinion on the whole damn thing. Bernadine Ward said, I can't wait for Hayley, Randy, and Lynette to be exposed and get exactly what they deserve, to be jailed. I don't want them to be jailed. I hate to break it to you, Bernadine, because to me, they are three of the more interesting characters the show has left. Maybe Randy not as much because they've kind of dropped the ball on Randy over time. But Hayley and Lynette need to stick around for more mess because this show definitely needs more mess. Because I can't imagine the show without Hayley and Lynette right now. Can you imagine that? Because I can't. It would be even more boring. Monday 9196 says, Leslie is annoying. Better if she was evil. 100%. They should have kept Leslie evil. Instead of trying to water her down and make her a comedic character that just goes around and flies around like a gnat to everybody. If they would have kept her evil, it would be a lot better show right now. I think maybe they were afraid, much like with Hayley poisoning Bill, to write her into a corner. But good writers can get out of that. Ross Sun said, I think they're writing themselves into a literal corner. This was in response to this last comment about Leslie. I think they're writing themselves into a literal corner with Leslie and her lack of payoff. Even seeing her house would be a payoff, but the story suggests we'll never see it. I would be shocked if we see Leslie's house anytime soon, because how are they going to get more sets? Unless they get rid of our favorite alley, then they could replace it with a set for Leslie, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if we ever actually get to see the house. I would be surprised, honestly. All right, I have time for one more comment. Sable said, oh, and here I was about to ask you if Tomas was attempting to flirt today. I guess I blinked. I did hear Lynette tell Hayley that Tomas may be trying to get information on Hayley. It was an awkward scene. It was supposed to be flirting between Tomas and Lynette, but like I said in Friday's episode, it did not land because of the acting of Tomas per usual. And so now we have this story next week where it looks like Tomas is going to be called out by Bill about flirting with Lynette. And he's going to deny it. And maybe he wasn't flirting. Maybe that's why the scene was so awkward. But he had a line that was flirty. It just didn't land. I don't know. I'm hoping for a much better week this week than the last couple of weeks. The show really does need a shot in the arm. And I don't know if we're going to get it. I would like to think maybe when May Sweeps comes around, they'll be on a better game. But I'm afraid that might not even be the case. But let's, fingers crossed, hope for the best, that they are hearing more complaints. I think they write 3-4 months in advance. They at least tape 3-4 months in advance. They seem to finally be correcting the Kat and Ted dynamic and how everyone gaslights Kat. That's been a lot of the dialogue lately. So they seem to be wanting to please that loud Kat stan base that used to be loud. It's grown smaller, I've noticed, over time. But there's so much more they need to correct. Like, they've let the little problems build up, and now they have big problems they have to correct, unfortunately.